Hello everybody. In this video we're going to see some basic functions used in Python. These are all the functions we are going to see. We're going to start with the input: int, float, str, print, max, min, absolute, round. Let us see in the coding. So first we'll see about this first function, input. So if I use the input function, input is used to get the input from keyboard. So I can give a message in the bracket. Likewise I can give. So it will get an input from the keyboard. So it's waiting for an input. So I'm entering 3939. It got the input. So if you want to store it, we can store it in the say variable a. Then I want to print and see. I entered 39393. We printed 39393. Okay. So whatever the input you are getting, whatever number you are entering, even if you are entering a number or a character, it will be got as a string only. So the format of this a will be string. Data type of this a will be string only. So even if I enter 4.5, it is not a float number, it's a string 4.5. okay, so that's a string. So if you want to convert that, you can use a casting functions like int, string and str. These three functions: integer, float, str. These functions you can use it to change the data type. So I got a in a string format. Even if I enter number, it's actually in string format. I cannot do a plus 5. Say for example, I'm entering number 100. 100 plus 5, it's not possible because 100 is not a number. It will throw error. You cannot convert int object because this process a needs an integer to sum up with 5, but our a is a string. You are entering 100 in string format, so you have to convert into a number. So that's why we are using a function, int function. Int is a typecasting function, so I can cast the a, which is a string, into number. So I am storing, it will return a integer. That value I am storing. So b I can use. So if I enter 89, 89 plus 5, 94. This is fine. So here we can directly put here to int of a. This part of b, I can just put int of a. Then we can try. So this will also be fine. So I'm entering 89, 94. So you just have to change the string into integer. So if I enter number 89, that's a string. But one more thing you have to understand, I will put b equal to, because it returns, you will know it returns. A is a string only. In this case, a is still a string. It is returning and it is stored in b. A is still a string. Now b is an integer. Okay. Now if I enter 4.5, 4.5, this is the string obviously. But the problem here is 4.5 you are trying to convert into integer. That is not possible because 4.5 is a string. It is having a point which is a dot in a character, dot character. So we cannot convert this into integer because integer does not have decimal and all. So it will throw error at this point. See, invalid literal for int conversion because it needs a base 10 number. 4.5 is not a base 10 number. So we need a without this 0.5 and all, we should not give decimal. So in this case, if I give a whole number 89, it is fine. Okay. Here we are printing 5, that is different. Different p. So if I'm entering a whole number 100, it is fine. Okay. So you should not give a decimal value in the string. If I enter 7.7, I'm having a literal which is having a dot which cannot be converted to a whole number. So it's error. So if you want to convert that, so now here we have convert that. So first we will convert it to float. So if I entering a decimal number, I can convert to float, then I can convert that to integer. The B is converted. So if I want to say I'm entering 7.5, first 7.5 is got as a string. A is a 7.5 in string format, B is a 7.5 is in float format, and I am giving 7.5 to which is a float number to a conversion for integer, so it will return 7. So I am entering 7.5, so it returns 7. So first you are converting it to a string into a float. So in this case B is 7.5, and then the 7.5 is converted to integer. So you can convert a float number into a integer. At that time it will omit the decimal part. Even if you want to see the printing of B, which is a float conversion, so it is 7.5 I am entering, that's a string, and then 7.5 this is a printing of this B, and this is printing of C. C is 7. So this way we can omit the decimal part and we can get just the integer alone. So these are all some typecasting functions. Now if I want to convert that back into integer or a string, say for example C is a 7.5 entered here for A. Okay, so if I enter 7.5, let us assume 7.5, this is a string. Okay, this is a string format. 7.5 enter the string format. Now here 7.5, which is in a float format, that will be a float format. Now here we will be omitting the decimal and I will be getting 7, which is a integer. Now if I want to convert this 7 into again a string, okay, I don't want an integer, I want to convert back. Okay, or I just assume I'll just have a big number, 17.5, 17.5, 17, something like that. 17.5 I'm entering, it is converting to float, and then integer I want to convert back to string. That means str is a conversion. I am giving this C, okay, and I want to store it in D. Okay, so if you put it 1, so that will be a D is a string. Okay, D is a string. Now you see 17.5 I am putting. Now this D I am printing, this is a string. How can you make sure that it's a string? You can do some string operations. For this you can just perform a len. Okay, I do a len of this D, so it will give me a so 17.5 I am entering 2. Length is 2, 17, 2. Okay. Why I am saying this length finding is if I put in length here, this is 17. I entered 17, so this is 17 in string format. String format. The len function we are going to discuss will work for string alone. So if I want to do something else, let us try this. Say D plus I am just putting ABCD. This you cannot do with a number. Say if D is a string, I can do this concatenation. I can append ABCD is appended to this one. So if I enter 17.5, so it is 17 ABCD. You see, that means surely it's a string, we can know. Or there are functions like is instances there. Through that we can find out whether it is a string or not. Just imagine this, you are here getting a string. By default input will return a string. That string is stored in A, and then I am converting it to float. So if you are entering decimal in a string, you cannot convert to integer. Okay, so here float is possible, that is allowed. We store it in B, then if I convert that float into integer, it is omitting this decimal part. I can just convert this back to string. Like this we can do. But one thing we have to remember is, now if I enter ABCD here, I am trying to convert to a float number, that will throw error because it needs numerals. So if I enter ABCD, what you are trying to do, this is alphabets. Now you are trying to convert this alphabet into a float number. That's an error. You cannot convert alphabets into float or integer. Not possible. Okay. So only thing is you have to give numerals. I can just have numerals like this 0.5. This is also allowed. the dot is allowed. I said now dot is allowed if I convert it to floats, but if I try to convert this into an integer, that's also not allowed. Okay, so we have seen these functions, and then print functions, obviously we're using print is fine, and there are some more functions like max, min and absolute round. Let us see what are they. So that's all very basic functions. So if we use max will find a maximum of a set of numbers. So if I give 5, 199, 199.5, if I give like this, so you can take decimal also, float number also, floating integer you can take. So I just want to print, it will return actually, say I'm just putting in D. Okay, so print D. So what it prints, it will print 199.5. it can take a decimal 2. Okay, so I can give up to any numbers separated by comma. I can give like this. So if you just compile, it says 2322. This is a number which is biggest of all the numbers you are given. So max find the biggest of a set. So you just have to give arguments, value arguments, and so it should be having a comma separation like this. So if I put a min, okay, if I put a min, it just finds the minimum of all this. It's very easy to get min max in Python. Okay, unless so if you're using C and all, we have to write the logic to that. So we have a inbuilt basic functions which finds min max, and in print function where we can see one more thing. Say if I am printing, say for example A print A is A is number 10, B is 20. I am printing A and I am printing B. So if it goes like this, it will print A 10. It will give a new line. It will print B 20. So in this case, if we see 10 and then a new line and then 20. So I don't want a new line. I want to print everything in a single thing. So if you are giving like this, okay, so end, that is a keyword end, you just have to end with one empty thing. Okay, then you can just say it will after printing 10, it will end with this empty, the next print will happen. Okay, so now if I end it with for example, if I end it with comma separation, I can perform 10 comma. So first it will print 10, it will end this printing with the comma, there is no new line, then it will, we are getting printing B. Okay, but if I say print C after this, say print 40, okay, this will not ending with anything. So after this B, default ending is new line, so it will print A, which is a 10 comma, B 20, then 40 in a new line. Okay, so this is the ending. So you can end with a colon, semicolon, like that, comma separated things. You can create many big things like this. And then one more thing, there is a thing called, there is a sep keyword called, there's a separator. You can use a separator. In this case, say for example, I have a string, say a we have B, okay, and then I have a C. I want to separate it with one letter, okay, yum. So if you try to do that, so it will just print A, then it will print yum, then B, then yum, then C. After that, C will not, after C it will not print yum. So A M, B M, C will print like this. Okay, see, I can just interleave with yum value. So that's one of the usage of print functions. There is a function called min, we have seen. ABS, it's absolute value finding, and round is also there. So what is ABS? ABS, if you are entering negative or positive, you will just change it to positive, that's it. So if I am entering -5, it will convert that to a positive, so I can return a positive of that. So if I am putting D, it will return always. So in Python, every function returns mostly. So here what it returns 5. If I am entering -5, it just change it to 5. Okay, it's absolute value. So it can get a thing like this. If I am putting 5 minus 10, what is the value? It is minus 5. Okay, or I can say 5 minus 100, it is minus 99. So it will convert to 95. So 5 minus 100, it's 95. It's minus 95, but actually it will return to 95 because it gets absolute value. So it gets a difference. It's like a minus b. We used to take a Euclidean distance, right? So for that we need a difference, scalar difference value. So in that case we can use. So 100 minus 5 gives 95. 5 minus 100, it is minus 95. If I don't need that sign, I just need the difference or a quantum value, I can just go for a absolute function. Okay, so it gets the expression also. 100 minus 5, it just gives 95. Okay, 5 minus 100, then it gives 95. Okay, so it's absolute, which is used for getting the difference value. Only the difference. You can just remember to get the difference value. And there is another function called round function, which is also very basic, which is used to round the decimal points. So if I give 4 point was like this, come on, second argument is how many decimals you want to round it to. If I say round it to 2 decimal, we'll just see the third decimal, which is 3, which is less than 5. That means it will just keep it like this, and it will use the previous also. Previous one, it is 3. So then it will just keep it if it is this one. Say I want to keep it to 2. That means it sees a third one. Third one, if it is greater than or equal to 5, it will check this one, the previous one, where we are going to restrict it to 2. If it is odd and if it is more than or equal to 5, it will change it to plus 1, plus equal increment. So in this case, this is 3, which is less than 5. So it just keeps 4.33. Okay. And if I change it to, say, for example, 7. So first I have 7. We are needing only 2 digits, 2 decimal points precision. So now 7 is here. It sees the penultimate one. This is 3, which is an odd number. So in that case, it will convert to 4. It is 4.34. Okay. So that's why round it works. But if it's a 4, okay, it will just see the same thing. 7 is there. 7 is greater than 5. Okay, greater than or equal to 5. That's fine. So it just increments the previous one. So in this case, if I put 5, you see, if I put 5, then also it will do the same thing, because from 5 onwards it will just do 0.35. See, it increments this place. But if it is 4, it will not do. Okay, less than. So it will just keep 4.34. Okay. So in the same way, if I put in 0, that means I am taking a no decimal. Okay, so in this case 4.3, it will just do 4.0 itself. Still it's a float, it's not an integer. Okay, so 0 decimal we are just rounding to. So in this case, if I put say if there is 5, so it will change it to 5.0. Okay, it is from 5 onwards, it will just increment this decimal, the previous one with the integer by 1. So in this case, say for example, if I have 8, again 9, obviously it is 5. From 5 onwards, if I put 4, it will note, it will just keep 4. Okay, so there's a various rounding. So if I have say for example 10, I have only 4 decimal points. You see, we have 4 decimal points, 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm putting 10, so it will just give that whatever we have maximum. It just display that. That's it. Even if it is bigger, it won't display, it won't append zeros and all. It just 4 decimals are there, 4 decimal precision is there. Let's just keep it like that. So this is a round function. Okay. So we have seen up to now, we have seen all these functions, which are somewhat basic of this of Python, which is very much in use. Okay, I hope you have gained something with this video. Thank you for listening.